Sometimes it's easier to graph a line using 2 points, an x-intercept and a y-intercept, rather than going through the trouble of getting y by itself and using y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The one thing that students sometimes get confused about is that you really are looking for 2 different points. We're going to be looking for some point on the y-axis and a second point someplace on the x-axis. So you really have to find 2 separate points to use this method. Alright, so let's take a look at our equation. Negative 7x plus 14y equals 28. And I could go ahead and solve for y, but I'm not doing that here. I'm graphing lines using intercepts. So the first step is to find one of those intercepts, and I'll do that by substituting 0 for the x in the equation and then solving for y. So I'm taking out the x and I'm replacing it with 0, and then I'm going to solve the equation and find out what my y value is for that point. This is going to give me the point where my line crosses the y-axis. So somewhere along here. I don't know where yet. Alright, so negative 7 times 0, replace the x with 0, plus 14y equals 28. Anything times 0 is 0, so negative 7 times 0 is just 0. And I'm left with 14y equals 28. 14y equals 28. I'll divide both sides by 14. And I find that x is equal to 2. So when x is 0, y is 2. And that'll be my first point that I will graph. Let's do that. So here is a coordinate grid, an x and a y axis, x, y, and the first point I'm going to graph is the y-intercept, 0 up 2. Alright, now I need to repeat the process. Step 2 says to substitute 0 for y and solve for x. So now I'm going to find out where this line is going to cross the y-axis. I'm going to find a second point. Same equation. So it's still negative 7x plus 14y equals 28. But now I am looking for my x value, and I'm going to substitute in 0 for my y. So negative 7x plus 14 times 0 equals 28. 14 times 0 is just 0, so I'm left with negative 7x equals 28. Divide both sides by negative 7, and I find that x equals a negative 4. So when y is 0, x is negative 4. This is going to be my x-intercept. Go back to the graph. And let's plot negative 4, 0 to the left. 4, neither up nor down. Now I have 2 points. The only thing left to do is step 3. Graph the points and connect them. If for some reason I needed to know what the slope was, well, that would be very easy to do from this graph. I could simply count the rise up 2. And count the run, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4, and I would reduce that and figure out that the slope is 1/2. So if you are asked to graph using intercepts and then figure out the slope, you can just count it right off the graph.